In the Goodyear Eagle Dash in World Series Sprint Cars format, Kerry Madsen alongside Brooke Tatnall. Skip Jackson from 3. Back in the field, Trevor Green alongside Bob Jackson. Well, he's done well there, and likewise, Brett Antill from Iowa. Driving the Mad Harry Delamont, number 4 car. We're away. Tatnall to the outside. Madsen is always fast here. Romps out of turn number 2. Brooke Tatnall in the second spot. He'll kick it in low. Madsen traditionally runs the cushion. There behind him was the American Brett Antill. Behind him, Skip Jackson. Usually you'll find Skip on the front row of the dash. Things haven't quite gone to plan for Skip. However, he's already got this series well and truly wrapped up. Look how straight Madsen keeps that car. It kicks off turn number 4. Walker Racing Engines entry. Very quick out of the turns. There's Brooke Tatnall in the Shell Helix Schnee. Back in the second spot. In third, it's still Antill, I believe, and Jackson in behind. In fact, I think Jackson might have just moved up. There are 2 Jackson boys in this race. Yes, they are brothers. Skip Jackson, the defending and current World Series champion, after wrapping up this series a couple of rounds ago. There's his brother, Bob Jackson, I'm talking about. In the Sydney Express Couriers, number 12 car. Put a parcel on him and see how fast you get around town. In a turn number 3 and 4. It's an easy win for Kerry Madsen coming up here. There is Skip Jackson and the Skilled Engineering O'Brien Aluminium, number 7. A car that's built by another one of his brothers in the form of Jeff Jackson. Out of turn 4, Madsen on a mission. Romps to victory in the Goodyear Eagle Dash. Brooke Tatnall back in second. Long way back to third. I think that'll be Skip Jackson. There is Kerry Madsen, the bad boy of sprint car racing. And boy, when he gets cooking, you better get out of the way. Well, in front of a capacity crowd, the World Series Sprint Cars final round becomes a reality at Parramatta City Raceway. And some familiar names on the front row, isn't there? Throughout this season, you've seen the same big names on the front row generally. Kerry Madsen splits them up this time. All the pomp and glamour at PCR. Out in front, the former Australia 1 Trossel, owned by Sid Moore and restored by Brian Linigan. It's actually being driven by Kelly Linigan. But it's the car that Gary Rush won his first Australian Championship in. The 4-wide salute to the fans, as always. Quite awe-inspiring. Spotlights, plenty of people in the place. Just look at that for a championship lineup. Calandro and McDonald have made the cut, but they are a long way back. The pace car about to move off the circuit as the O'Brien Aluminium Company presents the final round of the World Series Sprint Car Circus. And there it is, the grand final. With Skip Jackson, an unassailable point lead. He's certainly got plenty of room up his sleeve, but it's about pride now. Playing at PCR, a lot of these guys have called PCR their home track in the past. Can they win here with an absolute plethora of interstate talent? Just look at that field. It's a long way back where you see Max Dumsney. Well, that's unusual. No one expected to see Dumsney that far back in the field. Qualifying obviously hasn't gone that well for him. Trevor Green, the South Aussie, starts from the inside third row. Brooke Tatnall, the outside front. Who'll get the jump? Will it be Madsen or Tatnall? Green light. We're about to find out. Tatnall to the outside. Madsen runs him in hard. Out of 2, Madsen gets the low groove to stick, but Tatnall goes wheel to wheel into 3. Great. Oh, Madsen. How aggressive was he then? Well, I guess you have to be. No time to be a gentleman. You've got to throw it all to the wind. And Madsen through to the lead. Tatnall almost runs off the circuit going after him. Just look at the way this young man drives his car. It is always so dead straight in the corners. Tatnall driving hard off the left rear in the Shell Helix car. Skip Jackson down to the lower groove. And have a look where Kerry's running in contrast. There is Marty Perovich together with Brett Loadsman. JP Painting Services. Number 52 Gambler moves underneath Brett Loadsman. The van man, number 33 Gambler. Down the back straight into turn 3. The Grizzly car of Kerry Madsen leading the Schnee of Brooke Tatnall, leading the Jackson chassis of Skip Jackson. Well, you can see the track is starting to slick off, and the reason we know that is how sideways some of these guys are getting into the corners. Now, Kerry Madsen attributes a lot of the fact that he keeps the car so straight from his time that he spends at Eldora Speedway in Ohio in the USA. Very fast half mile. You run right on the wall, and you must keep the car in line. Keep it as straight as you can. A lot of people think getting a car sideways is fast. Well, it looks fast, but it isn't. There's a lot of drag. Tatnall feathering the brake a little bit here. He knows too. He's got a lot of slick track experience. Madsen stretching the legs, going out after Wayne Skipper now. in the O'Brien Aluminium, number 24. In fact, he does that nicely. Round the top part of the track. Well, Madsen so often signals he has the capacity to do this, but bad luck can often stand in his way. Well, tonight, will he get to stand on the rostrum and say to everybody, I told you so? Tatnall running the lower side. Brooke Tatnall. How he didn't bite a big one then, I'll never know. Must have been just a bit of experience to gather it back up. Probably luck played its part too, so you can see that while the track is slick, there's still some really drivey patches to it. He's coming up now to put a lap down. This is our race leader to the right of your screen. Gary Madsen putting a lap down. The Queensland champ, Dean McComb. Red light situation has come on, and Skip Jackson has upended the model in about the same place that you saw Brooke Tatnall have trouble. Well, this is amazing. The defending and current World Series champion, Skip Jackson, this is certainly not the way he wanted to end. Coming back to Parramatta in front of the hometown fans, he wanted to prove this is why he's the champ, and unfortunately it's all come unstuck. Flash fire to the right. That's what happens when the car is righted. The oil pours onto the extractors, heats up and ignites. There'll be no problem there. Skip is okay, but it's a disappointing end to what was a fantastic summer for Skip Jackson. See the crew there working with him. PCR track manager Stuart Telfer just checking he's A-OK. Well, Skip Jackson is the best, the banner says, and I think that a lot of people realise that in terms of this series, no one has been able to lay a candle to Skip Jackson. Well, Trevor Green barnstorms Bob Jackson. Bob realises now the family honour is well and truly in his hands. The lap car of Skipper stays in his position. So Brooke Tatnall is actually in the second spot. He goes off the circuit. There is Bob Jackson. Sydney Express Couriers, number 12. See Brett Antill back in the field. Rush starting to come forward, and Dumsney too. Well, on a slicker track, Gary Rush and Max Dumsney will have a lot more experience than some of the younger guys that are currently in front of them. Jackson runs the top. Brett Antill out of Iowa is used to running a lot of the slicker, drier, dustier tracks, but he's also well equipped to the hooky gumbo of Knoxville. Well, Bob Jackson got into trouble in turn number 2. Wayne Skipper in the O'Brien car gives the sponsor a quick plug. It comes to a halt out of turn number 4. Madsen away again. See what a game of concentration this is, because a restart can ruin your whole day. Madsen again pulls away. The engine known as the Bear working very well. Well, a slide job on the inside. Brooke Tatnall bobbled. Trevor Green got him. And all of a sudden, Brett Antill went from 4th to nearly 2nd in one foul swoop. And there's Gary Rush. Rushy's got the main wing well forward. And look at him make the bottom stick. So Rushy's starting to come forward. He's got a lot of down angle on that main wing. Car's got a lot of attitude, and it seems to be working very well. Madsen about half track. Trevor Green in the second spot now. Brooke Tatnall, who had that very scary moment a couple of laps ago, reassessing his options now, probably realising that he's got to change something about where he puts the car. Rush is starting to mow him down. Well, this is amazing. Got a Sydney-sider leading a South Aussie, leading an American, and 2 home track heroes in the form of Brooke Tatnall and Gary Rush not far behind. Ooh, see how in some places Trevor Green's car is tight and it's also loose. Now remember that tight means that the car is pushing deeper into the corners. Now Tatnall comes back on the outside of Antill. Wonder if he saw a glimpse of the Castrol front wing and it spurred him on to bigger things. Well, Antill's disappeared off the scene as a matter of fact. And now Brooke Tatnall goes after Trevor Green. Well, if you know anything about sprint car racing this year in Australia, you know that there's a fairly intense rivalry between these two customers on screen at the moment. Antill looks like he's come to a stop coming out of turn number 4. All of a sudden, Brooke Tatnall's car is coming forward again. He's found something extra in the tank. Might have been the motivation of doing just this as he lays a pass on the Adrad 4 car of Trevor Green. Greeny will try and fight back on the bottom, but look at the ground that Brooke Tatnall has opened up over Gary Rush. A couple of laps ago, it looked like the Master Blaster was just going to drive on by. And now all of a sudden, Brooke has found something in reserve, arced up the car and driven back to 2nd. There is Green in the 3rd spot in the Freight Master, number 4. Rush sitting in the 4th spot. Where is Dumsney? I thought he might have been back there somewhere. Loadsman having a good run too. The budget racer from Sydney. Lap traffic coming up now for Madsen, but he's got almost half a lap over Brooke Tatnall. There he is. Largely unsponsored, Kerry Madsen, off to the USA at the end of this Australian summer, where he's hoping to compete at Knoxville. And just look how smooth he is as he negotiates traffic. It'll be Perovich and McComb he'll come up on And he's in an unenviable situation, is Kerry Madsen, because he's got two guys up in front. Just looking in, I hope I didn't see a puff of blue smoke then from Madsen. Might have just been some tyre smoke. He's got to try and put a lap down on two guys who are busily involved in their own scrap. Now, Madsen hasn't pulled them in the way I thought he might here. He was making enormous inroads. Now I think that the engine's gone off or something, because Tatnall is hauling Madsen in. And Kerry Madsen, you can see that black strip now. It's starting to be a bit of rubber that they lay down. Madsen's got problems. Smoke is just drifting out of the tail of the 29 Grizzly. You can't believe this. Tatnall licking his lips in anticipation, can see the ale in Kerry Madsen, 29 up ahead. Well, you don't have to be dead to be stiff, do you? Madsen in big trouble now. Engine is starting to let go. You can see the smoke pouring off the engine. And Kerry in frustration is staying out there. It's laying down oil. So Tatnall will know that the end is nigh for Kerry Madsen. The St Mary's Charger is going to be in a lot of trouble. There is Brooke. He'll go to the outside and he won't want to mess around. Ooh, it was close there. And the hearts of many people going out to Madsen. He's about to get off the circuit. You can see it's laying a lot of oil. Brooke, this is just amazing, isn't it? He's really changed the way he's been putting the car into the corners. He's changed his lines accordingly. He's gone from a car that was a little off the pace midway through the race to someone who's just gotten better and better. The Shell Helix, Phantom Comics, Keeley and Associates Schnee. He's the man who's won this series on a couple of occasions before. His father George won it as well. And not many laps left now for Tatnall. Very sideways, drifting up to the cushion, smacking the cushion and driving hard off it. Now he will come up to this battle between Perovic. There's Rush in the number 2, Castrol Maxim. Won't have to worry about lap traffic for a little while there. In fact, he's got past Trevor Green. Very physical racetrack tonight too. The fitter guys will no doubt prosper as the race wears on. And you talk about someone who's race hardened, that is certainly Gary Rush. There's the distance back to Rush. He's sitting in second now. Trevor Green is in third. As we said earlier, great crowd in here at PCR coming to see the World Series Sprint Cars come to an end. Checkered flag out, fireworks at the ready for Brooke Tatnall. He romps to victory and certainly has put on a spectacular showing. Rush in second spot, Trevor Green in third. Max Dumsney coming from well back. I think he might have scored fourth. Ooh, look at it. Fireworks everywhere and almost as much smoke as poor old Kerry Madsen was contributing to the environment a little earlier on. Well, Brooke Tatnall, he knows you got to take him any way you can, and he'll be absolutely thrilled with that. He's come back very strongly, receives a checkered flag from Arthur Cowan and wraps up the final round of World Series Sprint Cars here on Speed Week.
It was a tough deal, Jimmy. I really don't know whether we would have caught Kerry, to be honest. I was lucky there was a red, and unfortunately I caused it. Skip and I got together. I got a little loose, and Skip was coming through the corner a lot quicker than what I was, and we just tagged each other. But it's unfortunate for him to end the year that way after the great year that he's had, but I'm wrapped. We weren't real quick, and then we probably 15 to go, we got dialed in, and 3 and 4, the car was just hauling. I was a little concerned in 1 and 2. I biked it up there about 3 times. So, as I say, it was a tough race, and I'm sure the crowd got their money's worth tonight.
Well, congratulations on winning the series back-to-back. That's a great effort. But what did you think of it overall, the whole 16 rounds?
That was tough. We started off pretty good at Kalgoorlie, and we ran real good the rest of the first swing through Perth and Bunbury. And we had a real good swing just after Christmas through the southern states, and we capped it off with a good run through Brisbane and a win last night at Newcastle. That was pretty neat too. So just wasn't meant to be here at Parramatta.
Now, your campaign from here on in before you go overseas takes in the Australian title, and what else?
There's not a whole lot else going on, so we'll just strive for the Australian title. That's the next race that we're going to, and then we'll just focus on that and see how we go. Hopefully we'll be okay.
And you leave to go back to America when?
Middle of March. Racing over there starts early April, so we'll head back there in the middle of March to get prepared, and hopefully we'll have a good shot at the Knoxville Track Championship again this year. Okay, well, congratulations on firstly a Knoxville Championship, secondly winning World Series back-to-back from everybody at World Series, and we look forward to seeing you next November back in Kalgoorlie. Looking forward to that. I'm very grateful to have such a good team behind me this year. Skilled Engineering, Gibson Freight, O'Brien Aluminium. They've all done a fantastic job all year long, and the whole team's been very dedicated, and I'm very grateful for all the help that they're giving us, and I'm very, very grateful to be able to win a series back-to-back. Thanks very much, Skip. Thank you.
So there you have it.
Very much, Skip.
Thank you.
So there you have it.